I was thinking about trying to relish where Venus is at this point right now. It's at home, by the way, in Libra. But Libra has the co-ruler of Saturn, which makes the masculine sign of Libra one of the most amazing warlords ever to hit the plasmatic holographic field of our humanness. Human universe. And we are so irresponsible, by the way. You know, if you can look at me and say, God, watch what you say, blah, 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 good, because you need to practice that too. Because there's intention. When you live in intention, that's come up a few times in my language over the last week and a half, it seems like, regarding where I live, the environment that I know that I'm living within, a massive wilderness area. And if you want to reduce it down to just, well, let's chop everything down and burn it, it's a massive quarry of granite. It's not going to go away. Like my grandmother said, honey, an atom bomb can go off and this place would not be destroyed. I think it's already happened. There's plenty of evidence of meltdown here. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what this clump of material is that I'm living on. Massive structure that was a beautiful shrine-like castle, city-sized, because that's just what was here on the planet not too long ago. I would say, well, now the curious thing that we look at is the trees. And curiously, like the language we use, they say log it in, the logs. What do the logs say? Log it in. Well, the logs say here on where I'm at on this massive mound of structure. Well, I know of a really old tree. It's the oldest tree that I know of. It's the most massive tree up here. And, they cut one down over here where they're just right next door around 30 years ago. And there was protests about that tree being cut down because it was green. And it was the biggest one in this meadow. It must be in a vortex over there. That's why it's so big. It just was so huge. And I think it was 300 to 400 years old. Really, if you look, these trees out here that I have that are massive, well, they have cut a couple of them down, and I counted the rings, and it faded away, and I was kind of done, give or take 5 years, at around about 125 years old. And that was about 5 years ago. So it's a little bit of the turn of the century that these trees were planted. They were literally planted, too, by men who came and extracted the ponderosa pine. That was the other tree that was here. And they were huge. I remember, when I was a little girl coming up here and playing around in the forest, and just where here in the meadows, they did harvest these massive ponderosa pines, but they left the stumps. But you can see how massive these trees were, and I think that they were 200 years old or so, if that. And so, but my point is like, what's taking these trees out, and then what's planting them? Well, it's obvious that there's a presence here doing that. It's not natural like we think. Just consider that. Well, it is, because what my grandma explains is it's called spit seed planting. You plant large trees that have pine cones already going, and then the squirrels and the the birds come over and then they start planting, helping plant. But the men that were here and women that are here knowingly, historically, by the turn of the 19th century, that were harvesting the first batch of trees, which I'm pretty sure they were at least 300 years old, the most, really more like maybe not 250 or 200, and that's getting pretty big. And there was a lot of water there, so they're growing quicker anyway. They intended that as a resource, as they know it was a resource once before, and they treated it that way, and it was, but, who are they? They're massive, groups of the industrialized, like, say, I was almost going to say some kind of age-old military that's what centralizes and gets the main equipment, the top-notch scientific discovery of how to do things, whatever it is, and give it to military, and they are doing it. But yeah, there's levels to this stuff, babes, and what operates in 3D here, I just gotta say is non-human. It's an occupation that looks human, 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 humane. Uh, that is to say, well, what did? I mean, why are we now harvesting these splinters off of this massive site of ruins, and is continuing on with this massive farming of the human organism, and the way that it's happening just through pure suggestion, which brings me to my main subject matter is of the mind. Yeah, the main plague, the main disease that the human doesn't know that they have. It's become a disease because they don't know that they have a mind. See, that's the same to me as saying, because it's kind of a big thing to say, that, well, if you're religious or spiritual, you say, well, the biggest mistake that people made, they let the devil tell them that hell doesn't exist. Well, that's saying that the mind doesn't exist. And if it, I mean, well, if there is any importance to give to the mind, it's the first thing. It's the first thing. It starts with the mind, and then your body follows. And it's like, no. If you are talking about the learning mind, the mind that needs to learn something here, it's the body first, and the mind follows. Yep. And then you become more and more aware, which is a bodily thing. Your mind becomes more and more like the thing that you use to imagine what just fucking happened. Talk about a loop scene. If you want to loop something back, loop the experience. Only to learn, though. To see, learning means that. Okay, narcissists, I got to tell you, learning means that you're doing weird stuff. You're doing all kinds of, like, okay. That's the only way I can explain it is that how I finally come up with a song out of all of the practice, and you can do it 30,000 times, but it's all trash, and you kind of make a mistake. In other words, you're not holding on to the stuff that doesn't pull up and make the people on the dance floor jiggle around like crazy. That feeling, the hitting it on the notch, you save that, and it's like it's just a jewel out of all the rest, and that's how you're learning. You're not learning by making mistakes. You're learning by pulling up. See, that's what they're saying. Learn by your mistakes. Is like, yes, we understand that, but learn by pulling up and holding what isn't a mistake. What was meant to be, like, say, what is God's plan? No, I'm talking about, God, this is such a hard conversation for a lot of people. I'm like, It's not supposed to be, and blah, blah, blah. No, this is the way the truth is. Go along the ley lines. Only it's geometry. It's the only thing I can associate it with. Now, geometry. Now, triangle, triangle, triangle. It's the same for everybody, and they're not a bad thing. They're not a bad thing. I mean, we've got Egypt over there, and they have these big triangles sitting there, and they're three-dimensional, right? They have four sides, but there's actually, if you really look at it, there's eight sides. There's a little crease there, something going on. Maybe it's because of the 3D printers that they used there that just see discrepancies or whatever. It's not discrepancy. It's 3D printers are pretty damn accurate because well um, all of the universe is like to the T accurate. Otherwise, it wouldn't be here. It's just pure perfection. Um, um, Oozing in and out of a geometric playing field. Got out of that one. Phew, fuck. Sunday's over and everything. But I wanted to talk about the serious issue of the disease that is the plague of the mind that is left unseen for what it is. See, the mind is left to awareness. Say it pulls the awareness in. See, the mind and awareness are two opposite things. It's too much for the mind to be aware. It's not even cut out to do that. It's just a memory bank. Like what I'm saying is, now you're going to remember how you got the jewel, right? You don't remember what makes you feel bad. You remember what makes you feel good. That's why it's important to have a higher learning tool. Hi, Moo. Gardening is one. You know, your animals, if you're doing it right, you're going to get an amazing interaction that starts to surpass just making them healthy by throwing them water and food. There is a real energetic thing. Pretty soon, babes, you don't notice the difference between you, the animal, or the plant, or the entire existential reality. And it's important to realize that that's not so much the hallucination as the next person, to tell you the truth, the one who judges, say, the guru in the mountains who sits alone or locks themselves in a cave or whatever is going on with those people that are trying to be solitary most of the time. A lot of the time it's because why not get into our real lives, try to figure out just a glimpse of the truth of that, and then talk about learning, higher learning. You know, that's a graduation into something. I'm pretty sure it's beyond this lifetime. It's beyond this world. As far as, like, would you like to advance into something more hospitable as far as a human ecology? Getting back to the ecology, the state of the human ecology now. If you notice, I mean, if you really think about it, I have this bracelet, and now I have ended up like doing the rosary. For some reason, I'm just doing this like while I'm talking, and it's like, this is great. I need a longer. Can you send me a longer one? Anyway, talking about, yes, the severe condition of the human organism because the disease of mind, and the main thing is that awareness is being kind of like uh, sucked into it, and it's being blinded. Awareness is not the mind. A master such as myself, babes, doesn't want to give away what awareness is. But these are just words, which is fun. All of the true nature of the reality of reality is beyond all words and symbols. But there's a celebration that's to be had, and of course we're using words to celebrate. It's a celebration. It's like, it's to literally say, this is here. This is is it. Thanks for listening to all of this. It's still the intensity of, I mean, I heard that the new moon is today, and I'm thinking everybody is always wrong. That's one thing we can guarantee. 13th, here it is, Monday, and it's looking like that's pretty darn true. It could have happened overnight. Yeah, it's happening in the morning here early, and I'm making this video at this time while the new moon is happening. And I feel it's a serious subject matter to go. It's kind of going back to where the Buddha and the ancients are talking about the problem in this world, the problem of mind. Oh boy, pardon me. And if you have managed to get over or conquer just a little bit of it, you can definitely help another person with the presence, really, their presence. To a lot of things, really. That's the main thing, is to move the mind into awareness instead of awareness into the mind. And then because that starts to expand yourself into consciousness, which is a simple subject matter. You know, the scientists say everything is consciousness, and it's like, yes, all this is consciousness, everything. Every swirling fucking thing out there in the ocean is consciousness. Is not this is the conversation I want to have right now. Consciousness is not the bee's knees. What's the bee's knees is from where consciousness has emerged from, and that is the unconscious mind. And I would dare say that that's the mind of God. Let's get back into our bodies. Definitely our bodies display the unconscious mind, which is superior to the conscious mind. If we can bring up the unconscious body into consciousness and say, I meant to do that, which you can get it pretty damn accurate. You know, athletes are kind of getting near the superhuman qualities. I have noticed some things like, okay, so how did I end up doing that? Because that wasn't a conscious choice. It was an unconscious thing, and I was able to just catch it. You know, because I'm pretty darn athletic, and what I had just said, like, well, pretty darn athletic. Your body is alert. It begins to vibrate very quickly to the point of, like, see, that's what an awareness is it's the highest vibrating frequency of the present moment now, really. You know, wrapping this up, playing the drums, the way that I got really good and advanced in my caliber, as far as just women sitting around, or even men. Yes, it's not a usual thing to just jump on the drums and start is to come from that highest spectrum. Realize that you have the highest spectrum, and then you're pulling away from that. But you actually are operating from, you are vibrating at that speed, but now you're pulling away and hitting the lower just intervals, but you are always vibrating up here. That is a very good metaphor to the work. I mean, the why that some people talk about isolating themselves away from a lot of things, like subject matter, like the food we're eating. You stop eating, oh God, the processed meats and that stuff that is, you can imagine all you want that's good for you and good for you. You know, it does keep your body at this buzz, which is the Z at the end of the alphabet. That means that you are on the electrical current now, baby. You know, good job, I guess. You are. It's not necessarily a good thing, like, as far as, like, how are they using the electrical? Getting back to being just dimmed down with the lower vibrational frequency foods and stuff, and you know, you need to learn how to fast and eat very little, but when you do, just start eating pure herbs and stuff. Eat yeah, earthy stuff, but pure herbs. Try it. Do a lot of water. I don't know. I just see people being so dense in their bodies, but it's none of my business, really. I don't, whatever you want to do, you know, however your karma is. I'm not really judging people. I'm not really saying, oh, these are terrible or whatever. Maybe they are. Whatever. We're all terrible. You know, give us the flag of the badge of terribleness on this planet. Somehow we've gained. That's what we are. If we've ended up here, isn't that terrible? It seems like, man, I need to get the hell out of here and never come back here again. One of the main things you do, I hate this video, by the way, because, well, for one, we're still on intense subject matter, so I was just about to say the main thing you don't do here in order to try to make a clean escape is don't have children. See, I don't know. This plane, when you figure out what's happening, like I said, we're all just kind of, we have fucked up. That's why we're here. You are at dim. You are at the least respected in outer space. That's why you can't be seen. You're in solitary confinement. You're actually a plague, a danger. Was I talking about that earlier? Good. I'm almost making sense here. What is it? This bucket of mush up here they call the brain. You've got a responsibility profound, and well, maybe, well, how did we get it here? How did we get it over here? Well, maybe we are in prison. We're in the worst fucking resolution. The resolution for us is 3D. We're not really gonna get past that unless we understand what 3D is. And I hear every single mystic or astrologer getting it wrong. 3D is reality, by the way. It's just the culmination of, I call it mind, body, and mind. See, but now, one of the minds, with the capital M, and I would put it on top, but we don't know. Is it on the bottom? It doesn't matter because there's the mind in the middle, the meadows. I mean, the body in the middle, the meadows, which is whatever there is, the mind, it's the higher mind, and I'm referring to the capital M. That is the mind of God. That's reality. That is reality. That's, uh-oh, I'm about to give it away at minute 23. You sat through this? I'll give it away. That is, now. Reality is now. This moment now. And see, I'm an Aries rising doing rosary. It's very different. Other people are very slow, you know, but I'm just like going 630,000 miles an hour. I'm a leader. I've gone way out. Talk about now. My cat is playing over here. So happy that she's with me. And every little friend, you know, who is here now, I appreciate it. You know, we are here now. A lot of people ask me, like, what are you up to? What you been up to? I'm like, well, I've been up to now. I hope you're up to now because it's been a long time, you know, as far as, well, I don't really associate with talk. Why do I not associate? I like my real life, and I would love to share our real lives together, but everybody is such in a hurry to go and find their real life. My cat is seriously playing because of the higher vibrational frequency. Life is such that it's a little bit of work. Did I give it up? I said it's now. Now, babes, is just a space. See, a lot of people don't know this about reality. You can have this conversation. It might take you 3 years. You'll lose a lot of friends. Terrible friends, by the way. Watch out. You'll start to see people are not human. You're like, whoa, whoa. Hey, now, did I just see a dorsal fin and a fucking something go out the back end right there, like you're a reptilian or something. Yes. What I'm referring to about now, your real life is now, is the non-entrapment of mind, getting out of prison. We are no longer trapped here and enslaved. Would you like to break free, reptilian, who is using human material to be here? Be here, but it's not being here now. We notice how paranoid you are. And running. It's always never not now. See, now, babes, if you can get this down, you have to learn how to breathe, and you will. If you really start catching glimpses of your real life, God, it's called Christ consciousness. God is going to reward you. The mind of God is going to say, there's a tentacle of mine. See, we have the tentacle of Satan. That, haven't you noticed, babes? It's really been rearing up here at 4:20 a.m., 4:21 a.m. on a new moon with the Scorpio, and but see, Scorpio isn't always about that dark side, the evil. What is it but the unseen truth about the mind, you know? And leave it to Scorpio itself to turn around and say, well, I'll take advantage of that and scare the hell out of everybody. Yeah, and it's all in a day's work. You just take off the mask. What? You just Halloween? Oh God, we're just playing, right? What kind of game are we playing? That's the thing. It's like it gets so serious that everybody has their masks like drilled onto their heads. It's like, nah, we are this, and it's like, we are what? Not doing rosary. Are we safe for the children? Just mainly, are we being present? Like as light as a feather instead of like, boy, see, because the closer you get to your real life, and that is just this space in between your hand and your nose, it's space. That's reality. Awareness, by the way. Awareness. Oh my God. The closer you get, babes, the more that the reptilian, or especially I would like just to say the mind, begins to rear up and say, oh, no, you don't! Where are you? Where am I going? Where am I going? It's really like, where are you going? Making awareness hang on to mind, maybe because